In this video, we will look at some of my tropical fish, mount a heater in the fish room, see how one of our baby Nile crocodiles are doing, and look at some cool exotic palm trees from my jungle greenhouse. Let's take a look. For the past 5 years, I've been looking at most of my tropical fish from the surface, but not anymore. I have come up with a novel idea of putting a see-through acrylic panel on the front of an aquarium, and this way you can actually see the fish you've been keeping for the last 5 years. Maroon sharks, peacock bass, tiger shovelnose, red-tailed cats, and some rescued Oscars and tinfoil barbs, just to name a few. Here I am feeding smelt to some of the fish, but I have a problem. And what is that problem?
This is the problem, guys. We bought the filter to clean the water, and I end up with cloudy water again. It's so discouraging getting the bigger tank, and we got to get the water clean. We got a sand filter on here. We're trying to get a bead filter on here. When we first put the well water in, it has iron in it, and it takes about 4 or 5 days to precipitate out. I got to get an iron filter. I don't really know how to get an iron filter. I need it for big aquariums where you use a well water that's high in iron. I made a fish video yesterday. Thought I'd make a longer fish video today, but the water's cloudy. You know, I don't know what it is, guys. This water is crystal clear, and it came out crystal clear using the little filter. So I don't know if the filters got clogged or what happened. They were supposed to last for 6 months. And I know you kind of get what you pay for. Remember how excited I was when I first got that filter? I thought that was going to clear up all my problems. This is a 200 micron filter. This is a 50 micron filter. This is a 5 micron filter. It's good for iron and sediments and carbon filter and sedimentation. But I really don't know where to go to get a filter for like a large aquarium like I'm trying to set up. I've reached out to a couple of people who own larger aquariums, but they have not got back to me yet. So I think one of the problems is that I believe my guy Tom is operating this as a biological filter, as a bead filter. I think he has little, the macaroni media in here. And we are no longer using it as a sand filter. The bead filter is very important, but I think we need a bead filter and a sand filter. So I'll check with him, and we may have to purchase a sand filter for the polishing of the water, because I have had crystal clear water, even with our iron water in the past.
So let's make an aquarium video anyways. And let's pretend that the water is crystal clear. This is video number 1, and you know what, guys? It can only get better from here. That is a Florida gar, a tiger shovelnose hybrid, and a marble acara going after the mullet head, but the red-tailed cat beat them all out. This is my firewood catfish. It got its names because it has a very thin body and it is no good for eating by the people down in Brazil. But apparently it is good to be used as firewood in the jungles of Brazil. This is a 3,500 gallon tank, and it looks like it is crammed full of fish. That is because I am feeding the fish in front of a pane of glass, and all the fish move towards the viewing panel. Can you see the open wound on that tiger shovel nose? I hope it is an abrasion from the transport, and it is not a bacterial infection. I will monitor it over the next few days and hope it gets better. I have an electric heater in all of these fish tanks, but now I'm about to mount a propane heater in the fish room, and also will be heating the air as well as the water. You know, last week we made a reptile video, how we winterized the reptiles. Well, next weekend, 39 degrees, guys. So I got 2 Modine propane heaters, 200,000 BTUs each. I got 1 for the reptiles, 1 for the tropical fish. So I have 1,000-watt aquarium heaters in each of the tanks. But in addition to that, we're going to have this Modine heater here.
and we're gonna heat the air to 60 degrees and try to heat the water to 72. So I got 2 of these Modine heaters. I put one in the reptile room. I got one here in the fish room. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy 200,000 BTUs or 250,000 BTUs. I said, how much does this one cost versus how much does this one cost? And I compared the different BTUs and I decided to go with the 200,000 BTU model. First thing we do, we have to buy it. Then I went and I rented a lift to lift it up. And then we had to mount it. If you see the C bracket, we had to mount it to the C brackets. Then after that, I had to run a chimney out here. I had to run the chimney out. And I think they got to redo the chimney maybe, unless it's an optical illusion. Looks like they put the chimney going downhill, which I think they got to fix it. Okay, on we go. Then I called my electrician. So I had to buy the chimney, we had to pay for the chimney, we had to pay for the C bracket, I had to pay for the electrician. And then after all that, one furnace works, one furnace does not work. The people that sold me this furnace said they would honor the furnace. They said, oh yeah, bring it back. I bring it back? I can't bring it back. It's all hooked up. So they said, well, just pull out the bad part and they'll replace the bad part. So they'll honor the part, but I got to pay someone to do it. So I don't know, I guess it's life. Life goes on. I just talked to my guys and they said they looked online and they said that the chimney should have a slight downward turn so the condensation has some place to run. The gas guy's coming to hook up the gas on Monday, even though the furnace doesn't work. But stay tuned, we'll tell you how it comes out. I looked it up online and my employees were correct. A little slight slope, 1 inch every 4 feet. Maybe we had it sloped a little bit too much, but we just lifted it up. So we should be good to go with the condensation. Well, we finally got this Modine heater running. I had to call my repairman. My repairman come. We didn't have to get new parts. He was able to go in there and put it back together. But I have a new problem. The thermostat sticks. The heater turns on and it worked great for day 1, but then after that, the heater won't turn off. So I think I got a bum thermostat. We'll see how it goes. Okay, well, we had a couple of really cold nights. I'm gonna go check in with Andrew and see how he's doing with the animals.
All right, so right now we are doing some fill dirt inside of all of our monitor enclosures right now, just to keep them topped off. Obviously, we have to scoop out soil as they poop, so it naturally drops. And on top of that, when we get, rain, wind, erosion, and anything like that, it starts to drop the soil as well, to where you can see the wire here exposing. That's for the dig out barrier, which goes completely underground here. So once that starts to expose itself, we want to make sure we get some fill dirt in here, start covering it up. Any sharp edges on that wire, we don't have our monitor getting cut feet or, injuring itself on the face or anything like that. So we just fill that in. And then it also gives her something to do. It's some good enrichment for her to get in the soil. She'll definitely utilize all this new dirt and dig around in it and all that good stuff. So passing by our caiman lizards, and they're just, one just dove in the water, but they're just chilling up here in the sun. It's a high of 60 today, but we gave them the option. We opened up their door. It's about 82 in there, and they wanted to come out and get the sun. And right before the cold snap, they ate really good meals for a few days in a row. So we're not worried about them fasting at all for these next couple days. All right, we got all the new dirt in here to cover up the exposed wire. Gave her a little pile to mess with, and she's using it. And you can see the tail drags all over the place where she's already been checking everything out. We noticed if we leave a pile of soil, and not just any of the monitors, but the tortoises as well, it's like the first thing they go to, and they kind of fixate over it. So she's doing the same thing right now, just being curious about a little mound of dirt here. Mind you guys, it is 59 to 60 degrees out. and she's just active, tongue flicking, walking around. Most of the monitors are today. The male is inside of his shift, and you know, the croc monitor was out. Everybody's just coming out as the sun starts to hit their exhibit. We temped our panther chameleons earlier when it was 50 degrees out, at about 77 degrees when they were in the direct sunlight. So the sun does wonders. This girl is being extra curious. A meeting of the minds taking place. One sunny patch that's rotating around the exhibit throughout the day, and they're just following it, staying right in it. Some of them, there's 2 that chose the hot box, and then there's 5 that chose the natural sunlight. One of them's coming over thinking I've got some food for him. But we're going to be fasting them today, being the high only 59 or 60, and then tomorrow we'll be feeding these guys. All right, so we just wanted to pull one of our little crocodiles out and give you guys a closer look at him with the outdoor lighting, just because he is growing so much. I mean, when we picked these guys up, they were probably a few inches shorter than this and about half the girth. I mean, they're growing rapidly. This is a Nile crocodile, and this is arguably the first to second largest crocodilian species. People go back and forth between saltwater crocodiles and Nile crocodiles, but they're both massive species, and they are one of the faster growing species as well. So we also have some Moralettes crocodiles, and they're getting the same amount of food, the same frequency, but these guys are just growing so much faster. So these Nile crocodiles will get massive one day. So I know in some states out west, like in Texas, and even some states up north on the East Coast, where the only requirement is for you to be an adult of 18 years or older to buy one of these, it is not a smart move. They can be inexpensive, they can be easy to come across, but definitely something that you have to consider for the long haul. This is not a pet. Right now, they're cute and they're fun to handle, but that does not last very long at all. In another year, this thing will be able to take the tip of your finger off, and then they're going to start to need a lot of space after that, on top of having to be outdoors as well. So, you know, this isn't for everybody, but if you're able to provide a good life for a crocodilian, and meet all your state requirements legally, it is one of the most rewarding things, in my opinion. They're just such cool animals. I mean, they're pretty much unchanged for millions and millions of years. They've got those webbed feet to help propel them when they're in the water, and they've got tons of ISOs all over their face, the integumentary sensory organs. Try to zoom in on the face, all those little dots that you'll see there. All of those are little pressure receptors, so any vibration in the water, they can sense that. They can feel it from tiny little minnows and insects and frogs. That's going to help them hunt in the wild. And they're just totally adapt for the environment that they are. In Africa, a lot of times those really big Nile crocodiles, they're only eating a couple times a year when big mammals like wildebeest are in migration and crossing those major river systems. But as they're smaller, they need to eat a lot more frequently. Insects, small fish, and as they get to the 1 or 2 year age, baby crocodiles that are smaller than them are on the menu as well. So we won't be able to keep these guys together too much longer. But you can see just how awesome and how well they're doing. And he's being pretty calm. I'm not even really restraining him. He's just kind of hanging out. Of course, I can't let him completely free because I don't want him to fall and hit his head if he just decides to jump. But we've only taken him out a handful of times. You know, we pretty much try to leave them alone so that they don't stress out. And you can tell they're just not really scared of anything. He's probably really liking how the sun feels on him right now. But just awesome little animals. They do have a full set of teeth, even as a little hatchling here. They can still bite you. It's kind of hard to see the teeth right now, but they're always breaking off. Even right now, while they're only eating small pieces of fish and cricket, they still break teeth off all the time and regrow them. And that's a process that they'll have going on for their entire lifetime. And they'll go through tens and thousands of teeth, just like an alligator would. They're constantly breaking and regrowing those teeth. So,
Hey everybody, so I just came back from the wildlife park in Ocala, and it got me thinking about this pond here. So this pond here we made for the big bull alligator I purchased. And the pond here is about 25 feet wide and about 35 feet long. The problem I have now is I don't want to build a swimming pool. Like people come out and go, oh, we'll build you a swimming pool for like 20 grand and it'll last 100 years. But I don't know if I'm going to last 100 years. And I don't know who's going to come to the zoo. So I've been watching the Chris Gillette videos and he gets this fabric, it's the concrete canvas, and they roll it out, they open it up, and they spray. First you put down a pond liner. You got to put down a pond liner, then you put down the canvas, and you open it up, and you spray it with a hose, and it solidifies. And I think like a 45 mil liner for this is between $1,000 and $2,000, and I think I can get this concrete canvas for $2,000 or $3,000. Then, if we're very successful, I may consider if we're very successful with the zoo, I would consider doing a better pond. But I don't want to have 1 foot in the boat, 1 foot on the dock. Everyone says how fast the zoo's coming along. Sometimes I think it's coming along slowly, guys. But hopefully we'll have an alligator in here by Christmas. I'm trying to get this greenhouse cleaned up where I'm showing these super exotic palms. But then this is the stilt palm. But then what I have here is I got some that I could resell. You see, guys, I got some stilt palms here, and I didn't know how many to buy. I think I got a dozen of them here. But these here are in 7-gallon pots, and these would be more feasible to put in your yard. Though, considering that they drop dead if you ever get to 32 degrees, so not feasible for everybody. But I got some of this here, and I got some other tropical palms here. So this right here is the Caradoxa. This is the white elephant palm. It gets its name because the back of the leaf looks kind of whitish. I don't know if you guys can make that out. It's getting kind of dark here. But this is Kendon's favorite palm, and I got a bunch of these as well. Now, the story on this, there was a really, really hard freeze back in 1986 at Fairchild's Tropical Garden. It got to like 22 degrees or 24 degrees, and everything in the garden died, but not this Caradoxa. So people say this potentially is hardy to 22 or 24 degrees Fahrenheit. These are my smaller Caradoxas that I have for selling, and you can see they get the name because the underside of the leaf is white. That other one is maybe 5-6 years from where this one is right now. But if people want to come, they want to visit the zoo, they want to bring back an exotic palm tree, I have them. This is the mature red ceiling wax palm. And you can see everyone grows it for this red stem here. And I went a little bit nuts. I have a whole forest of them. Someday I want to do some exotic hedge. Been growing these for years and years, but I have some little ones that I'll be able to sell people. So this here is one of the red ceiling wax palms. Now when they start out small, they're all green, they got no red at all. And as they get larger, you get more red. So once again, I had the stilt palm. I also have like maybe 20 of these that I could sell people. Australian tree fern. This we're growing maybe 8-10 feet tall, but look at this, I got baby Australian tree ferns. So this is kind of cool. This is only a few months old. So people can come, people can buy this, they can see the great big ones, but they can go home with this. And this right here is a Brazilian tree fern. This is a dwarf tree fern. It gets maybe a 2-foot trunk, and that's all it's ever gonna get. These need to be separated. They're a little too close together. They're a little bit busted up. But this is the other type of dwarf tree fern. This right here is the silver lady. So similar, a little more fast growing than the Brazilian one. It doesn't have that first red leaf, but this is silver lady. The other one is the Brazilian red fern. These are both dwarf tree ferns. This one may be full grown at about 3 feet. We will see you next week, and don't forget to like and subscribe.